Hello and welcome again to this Pompey podcast with myself, Scott Mclachlan. We'll review the last 4 games and look at the January transfer business amongst other things. So let's dive into this Play Up podcast. And this week, in sympathy with Pompey, we field a slightly changed lineup. Not necessarily due to injury and hopefully certainly not to apathy, but I welcome Simon from Switzerland and more locally Reece from Bedhampton Village. Good evening, guys. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening. All very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. How's your respective villages?
Wet. Front garden flooded, and just fed up with it.
Yeah.
Fed up with it.
Well, we've had snow and sleet on and off pretty much constantly for the last week.
Well, that's a bit nicer than just drizzle and torrents of rain, which means you can't drive across a road at all. So we start off with Pompey's home game against West Brom. Pompey found their groove early and had a shout for a penalty when Segacic was bundled over in the box and played through by a Bishop flick. Chaplin in the number 10 role was playing well, and he then flashed across the box, but no one was there to finish. It was the worthing Messi himself who opened the scoring, Ali pulling back from the byline for Chaplin to crash a shot into the net from 12 yards. Pompey were all over the visitors, and when Dazelle pounced on a loose ball in midfield, he swept the through ball to Ali, who was one-on-one with the keeper, and he calmly finished through the keeper's legs. It was nearly 3-0 when a deflected cross bounced to Devlin, whose volley struck a defender when it was going in and fell to the grateful keeper's arms. And late in the first half, another Devlin pile driver struck Segacic, and it was clawed away from the top corner to save West Brom from a first half hiding. In the second half, Pompey did get the third their play deserved. Ali pressed and nicked the ball, but Adams then played a 1-2 with Chaplin, and his poke shot went in. The General celebrated in style as he had bagged his second goal in 2 games. The game settled down for the remainder with another Chaplin shot being cleared off the line, the only other action. Pompey ran out well-deserved winners and put West Brom into the bottom 3 themselves. So, Reece, I think we've been looking like we were going to score quite a few goals against one side, and finally it came against West Brom, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and I wouldn't say it was a surprise, but I mean they're a team who were expected to be near the Championship playoffs, and they're just sinking like a stone. But I don't think this is a case of they were bad. I mean, we were just so good. I mean, it was definitely performance of the season so far. Chaplin finally scored, looked like a weight off his shoulders, but we were just rampant. I mean, that first half, I don't think West Brom had a shot on target. We had, as you say, first one looked like a penalty to me. I mean, he just took Segacic out. The handball, it deflected off one of their players up onto the hand. So I don't think in the rules of the game that is a penalty. But yeah, we just never really gave up. Devlin had a couple of shots, and it was all Pompey in the first half. And then in the second half, you think 2-0. Interesting scoreline. They get a goal, they're back in it. But I mean, Adams just continued where he left off against the Scummers and just kind of play really, really well in the midfield and got a deserving goal. And Chaplin looked like he put in a performance as we know he can. And it was just pretty much one-sided. So yeah, a fantastic game and thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, definitely Chaplin's best game. Well, best game so far, really. We were all bemoaning him being played on the right and not quite in his number 10 position. And then I think around Christmas time, he started getting his number 10 slot. Didn't really pull up any trees, but certainly against West Brom, he was one of the best players alongside obviously the Ali and Adams, who I think we're going to mention quite a lot in the next 4 games. So yeah, Simon, Chaplin, he certainly came to the fore in this particular game, didn't he? And not before time.
Well, I don't think there's a single Pompey fan who would say that he has performed as we would have expected him to this season so far. And when he scored that, you could see what it meant to him. He was absolutely wild going down the side of the
great celebration,
front end. Yeah. When I first saw it, I thought the video had been speeded up to double speed, because he seemed to be moving about 3 times faster than anybody else was around him. He was absolutely in Wonderland. He obviously been preying on his mind and bagged that one. And yeah, of course, the next match was supposed to be Ipswich, wasn't he, where he was not able to play. So let's hope that when he comes back, that he can carry on that and contribute a bit more than he has done this season, which has, as I say, been disappointing.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of fans were questioning Reece, weren't they, for weeks and weeks and weeks. And there was, I don't know, there was some sort of, at the point, I guess, in January, if he'd have gone back to Ipswich, I don't think there was many who would have really been that disappointed.
No, I don't think so. Maybe we'll talk about it a bit later on. But I mean, I think there's kind of expectation there, obviously, that he played in the Premiership. He was key to them kind of going up, and then he's just not performed. And whether that's pressure, whether that's trying too hard, I really don't know. But I think the thought was get a goal and he'll kick on, and he did in that game. But as I said, we'll chat no doubt about it a bit later. He's not quite kicked on as we expected him to, but I say we're not going to complain about it. He was pivotal to the game and winning it. I just say I hope he can produce some form and contribute to the team's performances of late, which have been a little bit better.
Yeah, so I mentioned them just a second ago, Cuds. Ali and Adams obviously brought in during the transfer window. Ali a little bit before Adams, but not more than a couple of days. And I think it's fair to say we didn't know an awful lot about them. Maybe Adams a bit more than Ali, but both of them, I mean, they've transformed the side really, haven't they, in the last 4 or 5 games?
Absolutely. I suppose the biggest question mark is why on earth did Derby let Adams go?
Yeah.
He's like you say, just made a massive difference. Always seems to be running. And Ali down that left wing, I mean, at the moment, who would you have, Ali or a fit Murphy? It's be a difficult decision to make when that has to be made.
Yeah, well, it is a good question. I think even when Murphy was fit, he wasn't firing on all cylinders. So I think even when he was fit, I don't think he had more than a good half, did he, all season? So I don't think there is a question. I think a fit Ali and a fit Murphy. Ali starts, first time every time, and it's good that we could have someone of Murphy's quality on the bench, wouldn't it? Really, we've bemoaned the fact the last 18, 20 months that we've had a very, very poor bench to not match like for like. We're always bringing on a lesser player in whatever position we bring them on in. To actually have 2 left wingers of the quality and form that those two could be in would be amazing for the last 18 games now I think left. So a good problem to have for Mousinho, but he's not back yet, Murphy, is he? Another couple of weeks maybe.
Yeah, it does seem to be a 2 weeks situation, doesn't it? That they can't seem to make up
the
their
Rory
mind.
Allen syndrome.
Yeah.
He was always 2 weeks away, wasn't he?
Yes.
And then he was in Australia and never seen her again. So the pressures
I would love to hear the full story of that one, because it's certainly an odd one.
Yeah, someone should track him down and find out. Anyway, let's go on to Preston then. So obviously we were in a very good place after a thumping win against West Brom. Callum Lang had been sold to Preston on deadline day, but he was not in the lineup to face his former team. Up front for Pompey, they were missing Colby Bishop, and that meant lonely Jacob Brown came in to deputise. Pompey had an early shout for a penalty when a lofted ball over the top saw Sekicic run onto it. He was the subject of a very clumsy tackle from behind, which looked to be a Stonewall shout for a spot kick, but inexplicably the ref decided it was a goal kick. The decision did not make any sense to any Pompey fan, and not least John Mousinho, who was livid on the touchline. Pompey were enjoying a lot of possession, but were hit on the counter-attack when a cross from the left was looped into the top corner by Alfie Devine's head. The away team responded, and the lively Dazelle ran onto a pass and struck a low shot which was heading into the corner, but for a good save by Cornell. Pompey continued to boss the game and in the second half create half chances, but not much in the way of clear chances until right at the death when a series of corners produced a header by Ogilvie, but it was saved on the line by Cornell. A loss then, but a very good performance which deserved at least a point. So, Cuds, really disappointing. But I mean, I looked at the match stats, and we had 63% possession in that game, which I can't remember the last time we had 63% possession in any game, let alone an away game, in the last couple of seasons.
That feels like a typing error, doesn't it?
Well, there was a pie chart to go with it, and it was definitely 2/3, 1/3. So that backed it up.
Yeah, I think the confidence that we took from the West Brom game. It's like, hey, we can do this. We can play as a team and get results. And I think we carried that into the Preston game. But I mean, it's a cliche, but everybody's been saying it. It was just one of those games. You could have played for another 90 minutes and the ball still wouldn't have gone in the back of the net for us. In the same way that we had the game at Sheffield United last year, where we played them off the park and didn't come away with any points. And it's a tough one to take because we were good, and I think we more than matched Preston, who are far further up the table than we are. So that is a good thing. And as we've progressed along the last few games, that seems to be the general gist of things, that we're improving, not massively, but we're certainly heading in the right direction.
Yeah, Reece, it was a terrible pitch. I mean, I know they're up north and everything, but it was a real pudding of a pitch. I heard someone describe it and it wasn't really conducive to much football. Do you think Preston did that by design because that's the way they play, or is it a case of the weather had just forced their hand, because they are quite a big direct team? Excuse me, they are a big direct team, as we saw when they came to Fratton Park earlier on in the season. You know, we thought we were looking at a basketball team, not necessarily a football team.
Yeah, I hope we haven't got teams employing John Beck style ways of kind of trying to manipulate the win games. But no, I mean, I think maybe the weather's worse up there. Generally is. But I don't think they would have done it purposefully, but it still affected the pitch. I mean, just echoing what Simon said earlier, that was such a good, refreshing performance. And goals change games. It's the old cliche, but it would have just been a goal. That would have been a sending off because it was a clear goal scoring opportunity. And I don't know why the linesman didn't give it, or I don't actually know what side it was, but it undoubtedly massively influenced the game. We, as you say, we had a lot of the possession, but I was really pleased with it. But yeah, the pitch did not help, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's the same for both teams. I'm pretty sure they don't train to, oh yeah, right, that's this week we'll do training because it's going to be a crap pitch. So I think you're just going to adapt to it. But I don't think it affected us. I mean, I think we were the better team, but apart from finishing, and that's where, when you're on top, you have to score, especially in this league. If you don't, you get punished, and we got punished. It was a really good header. I mean, absolutely pinpoint. Nobody was saving that, and it was the difference between the two sides. But to play away so well and not come away with anything was hugely disappointing. But I don't think the pitch had anything to do with it.
No, and it had been a continuation of form from not just the West Brom game, but obviously the Scummers game at home, where we battled against a side who were much improved compared to where they were pre-Christmas, the Scummers. And, like I've said before, in this league, it doesn't take much to get up to the top 10. You just need a decent run of results. I mean, we've had a decent run of results the last 10 games, but that has only obviously served to get us out of the bottom three. You know, if we'd have repeated that, the 10 games before that, we would be up on 48 points. I don't have any doubt, and up where the Scummers are. So two things from the game, Cuds. The penalty, I've looked at again 2 or 3 times today, and I've no idea why the referee didn't either give a penalty or a corner.
Yeah.
If he doesn't think it's a foul, then the guy must have got the ball, and therefore it's a corner. If he didn't get the ball, it must be a penalty. It couldn't. The third option of goal kick just doesn't compute, does it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I've done the same with you. I've looked at the video of it, and the defender Story, he kind of pauses because he's swinging his leg to clear the ball, and Sekic just nips in front of him, and he takes him out. It's clearly a penalty. It cannot be anything else. It's baffling, utterly baffling when you see decisions made like that.
Yeah, and that's the quality of the refereeing in the Championship. It's very, very mixed. You know, I mean, I thought the guy. To be fair, I thought the guy at Charlton the other day was very good. We'll come on to Charlton a bit later. I mean, Charlton had 5 yellow cards in the first half, and had to substitute a few players because of that at half time. But I think the quality of referee Championship is very mixed. You don't know what you're going to get home and away. So you know, he was probably just in a poor position, didn't know what decision to make. So I thought, right, I'll go with the safe option, give a goal kick, and then hopefully everyone will forget it in 5 minutes' time. But that's not the case. Right, so we will go on to Sheffield United. Pompey were back at Fratton Park to try and get their unbeaten run going again against a much improved Sheffield United side. Chaplin had picked up a strain injury, so in came John Swift for his first start in a while at number 10. The earliest chance came to Gus Hamer on the left for Sheffield United, but his shot hit the side netting from a very tight angle. The home side did have the ball in the net from Bishop, but it was ruled out for a foul in the build-up from Adams. Pompey then had another half chance from a corner that found its way to Segicic, and his looping shot was headed just over the bar by Bishop. He probably should have left it, as it was probably going in. 0-0 at half-time, but Pompey had again dominated the away side. Early in the second, a corner was played to the edge of the box, and a curling shot from Swift went just wide of the post. And the usually reliable Devlin lost the ball in his own half, and it broke to Brook, who also fizzed a shot just wide. Once again was Pompey's best outlet all afternoon, and he produced a shot that was tipped wide. Just at the death, there was a hard take for Pompey as a break from the away side, when Pompey had players forward trying to get a winner, produced a goal for Brooks, who tapped in at the far post. So a second loss in a row for Pompey, when they once again deserved much more. So Reece, frustrating because obviously we know about the Charlton win now, but so we've got our just desserts. But that's 2 games in a row where Pompey had played probably some of their best stuff of the season. And obviously we got our rewards against West Brom, but at home at Sheffield United we didn't, and it's a case of we didn't probably in the Preston game and the Sheffield United game really get efforts on target, despite our really good play.
It was almost a repeat of Preston. You don't score when you're on top, you get punished. And it was saying it quite certainly the second game in a row, and that was absolutely the case. I mean, they were playing 4-4-2. Don't see that very often. I think we were winning the midfield battle. We were playing really well. We were creating the odd chance, as you say. I had a look at the Segicic kind of bouncing bomb shot that Bishop headed wide. It looked like there was a defender on the line as well, so it might not have gone in. But I mean, that they were half chances. But the home side, you've got to take the initiative, and if you don't score, then you're always leaving yourself open to nicking something, and that was the case. And it was just really, really disappointing that we didn't capitalise on the first half. And they changed the formation. They took some players off. They went 5 in the middle, and they undoubtedly had strength on the bench. But I mean, it was on paper, it was men against boys. I mean, Cannon was a £10 million player. Bamford is probably on 80 grand a week. The midfielder from Man City, he's probably, I can't remember his name, he's on probably 100, 150 grand a week. They had a kind of an embarrassment of riches. And to be honest, they didn't make us look any worse. They just had that little bit of quality right at the end to nick the goal. And LaRue, it's really funny if you watch the replay, as their players going down the left wing, LaRue is constantly looking at their player. And then literally at the last minute, when the player goes down the byline, he ball watches and the guy just nicks in. And it's just those little things that were the difference. But from a performance perspective, I thought it was a really, really good performance. And I think sometimes when, especially for us, performances are part of it, it's frustrating you don't quite get the performance or the result your performance deserves. But it's another game where we play really well against a ex-Premiership team who came down last season. So very, very happy with the performance, disappointed with the result. But up against that kind of financial power, yeah, they only just sneaked it, but really, really, really tough.
A point of order, it was season before they came down. They actually they were third, weren't they, by a long stretch. So they were up there with Leeds, weren't they? They lost in that game to Sunderland. So I mean your point is still correct. They were one of the best teams in the league last season, and obviously had a terrible start due to the decisions to get rid of Wilder and bring in another manager and change the way that they did the training and recruiting. by some kind of AI or something, and they lost the first 7 matches in a row. So, as we keep saying on this pod, AI is not going to take over our lives just yet. I think we've got a while before that sort of thing happens. I think Reece hits the nail on the head there, Cuds. Performance levels really good, but disappointing that we A, couldn't get shots on target, and B, switched off at the worst moment.
Yeah, as a football fan, you love a last-minute winner, and you absolutely hate a last-minute loser. But again, the performances have been not massively improving, but heading in the right direction, and I think that's breeding confidence. We've had some results, and is it 2 losses in 10? I
think so. Yeah, I think so. I looked at the form. I was going to cover the form table at the end of the pod, but it's 4 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses in the last 10. So I mean, that puts us 11th in the table in the last 10 games. So that's pretty decent, isn't it?
That's mid-table performance. So if that continues to the end of the season, I have absolutely no worries about us dabbling with the relegation issues again. As we did last season, we started slow and then accelerated away towards the end of the season. So if we can carry on doing what we're doing at the moment, then all good.
Excellent. Right. Well, you guys, I've asked you to have a paper and a pen handy, because in the absence of Phil this week, I've probably put together a lot less fiendish quiz this week, but no less taxing. So I've got 10 questions for you. So basically the premise is that you need to guess the attendance of these famous Pompey games throughout history. Some fairly recent, some not so recent, as you should imagine, but they were famous. They were in famous venues, so that should give you a clue as to what sort of ballpark you're looking at. So I'm gonna give you the game and the context and the venue, and you've got to write down your answer, and then I will ask you both to tell me your answer, and whoever is nearest will get a point. So the first one is the one that we were all at, 2008 FA Cup final, Pompey versus Cardiff. I think we all know roughly what ballpark that is at Wembley, and it's still the highest attendance at the new Wembley. So if you'd like to jot down your answer, let me know when you're ready, and we'll see who is closest.
Okay, I am ready.
Right, Cuds, you can go first.
I will go for 89,456.
Okay, Reece?
Can't see it. Some way around. 89,751.
The answer was, and you're both very close, the answer was 89,874. So well done, Reece. You get the first point. So if the capacity was 90,000, then there were only 126 seats that were not filled at that Pompey Cardiff game. Astonishing, really. They don't get up to more than 82,000 these days, do they? So next one, another FA Cup final. 1-0 to Reece. 1939 at the old Wembley. Pompey versus Wolves. Remember, there was no maximum attendance in those days. They crammed them in as many as they could. And obviously, this is an official attendance. Who knows who were actually in there for most of these cup finals in the early years. So, 1939 FA Cup final, Pompey versus Wolves. Give us your answers.
Well, I have gone for 102,451.
Okay, cool. Cuds, what's yours?
I'm really guessing here. 111,111.
Do you know what, Cuds? You're probably right, but unfortunately, the official attendance was 99,370. So, Reece, again, you are closest. So, well done. 2-0 to you, mate. Right, so game number 3, the game that everyone says they were at, whether they were or not. I know I was.
Stockport, is
it? My wife was, and a couple of other friends. We were definitely there. It's 1998 in the Championship, Pompey versus Stockport. What was the attendance? I mean, obviously, if everyone says everyone who said they were there, it would probably be about 45,000. But what was the actual attendance?
Okay.
Cuds first.
I will go first. Okay, 18,033.
Okay. Reece?
I didn't think it was anywhere near that. I thought it was about 8,891. I thought it was quite low.
Is that your answer, Reece?
8.
You're storming this, mate. You're absolutely right. It was during the late 90s, nobody went to Fratton Park, so the official attendance was 8,622. we were bottom of the league and hadn't won in ages, so it was very dire days. 8,622 were at that Pompey Stockport game.
How many were at the Crew game on the Saturday before?
Probably a bit more.
That's when it all started. That's when the
Alan Ball's Blue and White Army.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it carried on the Tuesday night game at Pompey versus Stockport. Right, okay. Another one. I wasn't at this game. I was actually in Las Vegas on a friend's stag do. But it was the 2008 FA Cup quarter-final, Manchester United versus Pompey. I know you guys were there. What was the attendance on that day?
Okay. Oh, that's a toughie.
Okay.
Who's first? It is you, Reece. Go for it, mate.
I've gone for 67,238.
Okay. Cuds?
I've gone for 67,250.
What
was yours again, Reece? Sorry?
67,238.
So who's higher?
250.
Okay. Cuds, you win. The official attendance that day was 75,463. Obviously, that was post some extension works at Old Trafford. So I think the old attendance was 67,000 max, but it had been extended at that point.
Right, okay.
So I think we're going to go a bit more recent. So the 2016 Checkatrade Trophy game, Pompey versus Bristol Rovers. I think it was the first round. What was the attendance that night?
When you say Pompey, was it at Bristol Rovers, did you say? Or did you say
at home
Pompey
at Fratton Park? At home at Fratton Park, yeah.
Okay.
So this is the 5th one. So Cuds, you're first again.
Okay, I will go for 4,511.
Okay. Reece?
Oh, yeah, I was splitting between 4,000 or 5,000. I might well be right. I put 5,217.
Okay. You're both wrong. This is Pompey's worst ever attendance since the war. And there was a reason for that, if you can remember. There was the Checkatrade Trophy was there was a current boycott, wasn't there, being asked by various areas because the under-21 sides had been brought in. So the official attendance that night was 1,200. So who had the lowest there?
Cuds did, I think.
Yeah, okay, I was 4,500.
3-2 to Reece then, hotting up. So one I was at, but I don't think either of you guys would have been. 1980, FA Cup third round, Pompey versus Middlesbrough. Pompey were cruelly denied a winner of Jeff Hemmerman by an offside flag, which is still debated to this day as to whether it would have counted or not. What was the attendance at Fratton Park? 1980, Pompey versus Middlesbrough, FA Cup third round. It was an evening game because for some reason the first game was postponed.
Okay.
And you are first, Reece.
So I'm going to go for 25,642.
Okay. Cuds?
I'm going to go for 17,400.
Okay. Reece bags it again. It was 31,743.
Ow.
I remember we had to get in at least an hour and a half or an hour and a quarter well before kick-off, and I was literally crammed up against one of the barriers at the bottom of the North Terrace and had to sit or kneel there for 2 and a bit hours, which absolutely killed me, and I think ruined my trousers. My mum was not happy. But it was a proper full Fratton Park, and that's the first time I'd ever seen that. So it was brilliant. So another one you guys were at, and I wasn't. 2008 UEFA Cup qualifier, Guimarães versus Pompey, out in Portugal. What was the official attendance for that evening game? Pompey winning 4-2 in extra time, and Guimarães was overflowing with Pompey fans. I think you're up again, Cuds.
Okay, I didn't make that one.
Oh, did you not? Okay.
No.
I thought I was the only Pompey person on the planet who didn't go.
I will take a swerve at 25,321.
Okay. Reece?
I was at that game, but I was absolutely hammered and just cannot remember anything at all apart from Crouchy scoring and going absolutely ape. So I honestly do not know and cannot remember. I'll go 23,241.
Okay. And you're the lower one, Reece, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. You get it then? So it was a dead 18,000, so I presume it was a sellout. I presume that's their maximum attendance. So, yep. Mm-hmm. So, Reece, you are now 4-2 ahead, I think.
5-2.
5-2, sorry. Who's counting? And a game I should have gone to next because I was actually up in Sunderland this weekend on a business jolly for Nissan. I was working there and we were offered tickets to go and I didn't want to go. I went paintballing instead for some reason. I have no idea why. Perhaps I was too nervous because if we'd won the game, we were literally a point or two away from getting promoted. Anyway, so it is a famous game. Paul Walsh got sent off. We were down to 9 men and we lost 4-1. So what was the attendance at Sunderland that day? 1993 championship game. Pompey lost 4-1. Walsh got the sin bin. What was the attendance?
And that was Roker Park, wasn't it?
That was Roker Park, not the Stadium of Light, yes. So, Reece, you're first.
No idea. 24,792.
Okay, Cuds?
876.
I think you're giving the Mackhams a bit of too much credit there, Cuds. It was actually 21,309. So, another one for Reece, 6-2.
Unfortunately, you can't come... was far bigger than that.
Well, it probably was, but for some reason the Mackhams were... I think they... Because I read the match report again, and I think they needed that win to not drop into the relegation zone. So they were having a god awful season. So that's probably why it was half empty. Okay, 2 more to go. So unfortunately, Cuds, you can't catch up, but it is for pride. The 2005 FA Cup 4-1 demolition of the Scummers at St Mary's. What was the attendance that day? And you are first again, Cuds.
33,001.
Okay. Reece?
I was, 32,100 I put down.
Reece, you've nipped it again. It's 31,385. 7-2. Okay, very last one. Cards to put you out of your misery. There's a reason I've picked this game, and I'll tell you at the end. 1949, First Division. Pompey versus Derby County. How many were at Fratton Park on that day, officially?
I think I know this one.
It's our biggest attendance, isn't it?
Is the record attendance at Fratton Park.
Okay. I'm going to go for 45,819.
Okay, not bad.
I don't know the answer. So.
51,386.
Have you done a Jamie?
What?
Have you done a Jamie and done a bit of Googling? It's actually 51,385. So we'll give you that point. Yeah. We'll give you that point.
Come on.
Well done.
I want double points for getting within one.
You can have as many points as you like. Unfortunately, you've still lost. So well done, Reece.
Thank you.
I hope that was very entertaining for the listeners, and I hope you played along as well. Yeah. So we're going to go on to our fourth match. Go on, mate. What were you going to say?
I was about to say, can you do them all every week? Because I seem to do a hell of a lot better in your ones I do in Phil's.
Phil might actually listen to this and will be very offended. So I don't know. We'll see. I think I had a discussion with him the other day, and I did say to him, could he make them a little bit more easier because we're all looking a bit stupid. So we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks. So. Charlton, I made the trip. I was delighted to. I don't get to many away games, but I got to the rearranged Charlton game. So Pompey fans made the trip to South East London once again after the first match was halted after the sad death of Charlton fan Headphones Norm. Before the match, both sets of fans applauded and sang Norm's name in touching tribute. From the first attack, Charlton almost scored. Schmidt, though, came to the rescue, saving well with his feet. After that early scare, Pompey once again looked to control the game with Adams and Pack in midfield and Swift once again in the 10 role. A pudding of a pitch didn't stop Pompey playing the ball around well, though. It was from one of these moves that the ball found its way to Terry Devlin, and his run and drive from 25 yards squirmed through the legs of Kaminski, and Pompey had finally found the back of the net in 3 matches. The lead was doubled from the spot when the exciting Caballero, who was making his debut, swung in a cross that struck the hand of a retreating defender, and after a few seconds of thought, the referee pointed to the spot. Bishop stroked the ball home, sending the keeper the wrong way. Early into the second half, Pompey had another shout for a penalty. Adams driving into the box, and he was bundled over, but the referee decided it was a fair challenge. And then came a candidate for Pompey's goal of the season, and perhaps the championship as well, when Devlin picked the ball up again in midfield, and Charlton once again backed off him. From fully 30 yards, he let fly once again, and his swerving shot hit the inside of the post and went in. A truly wonderful hit to give Pompey their third and surely all 3 points. Charlton, who had made 3 changes at half-time, made 2 more and looked to lay siege to Pompey's goal, and they pulled one back from a long throw that was flicked in at the near post. Pompey hung on, and even with a half chance for Campbell in stoppage time, they didn't look like losing the lead and secured a vital away win to put them 4 points clear of the bottom 3 with a game in hand. Who wants to go first on this one? Reece, you go first, go on.
Yeah, I thought, do you know what, it was a result that was always coming, wasn't it? I mean, and again, goals change games, and I mean, in the second minute, they could have been 1-0 up. Pressure was on again, and you never know what the result would have been. But it was a really good save by Schmidt, and we were on top. Similar, I would say, game as it had played out. A lot of possession, and we dominated. The difference being we scored, and I mean, Devlin's. I always say any professional footballer, if they got the time, should be able to whack a ball very hard at 25, 30 yards and hit the target. Whether it goes in or not, I don't know. But nobody seems to do that anymore, apart from Devlin. And it was, I mean, the first one was a complete goal-keeping howler, but it was swerving, it was bobbling. So, but he missed it. Penalty, yes. I mean, I think it looks like it comes off his chest and then hits his arm, but I don't know whether the ref saw it. But it was a, I think it was a penalty. If it's the other way, you would have wanted it. But we just dominate again, and I think for the first time this season that I can remember, we actually looked balanced in the front 4. Caballero looked like a right winger. Swift had another good game at number 10. Ali continues good form, and Bishop was being a pain in the backside. And we just looked, it looked, say, a complete performance, but we just looked so much more comfortable, even though you're playing a left back at centre back and then a right back at left back. But those front 4, I just thought looked really, really sensible. And I'd be amazed if Chaplin starts again anytime soon. Swift still gives the ball away, but when he's playing in a number 10, it's not in a dangerous area. When he's playing at number 6, he does lose it, and the attackers are kind of close to your goal. So, but yeah, I mean, Devlin's goal, I mean, that second one, absolute peach. Bishop on the score sheet again. I think the only downside was it was Adams' 9th yellow card, so one more in the next 5 games. I think he gets a 2-game ban. But yeah, what a performance, and so pleased that the travelling fans got to see that, considering they went up to the game and the game didn't take place, and the sentiments towards the Charlton fan Norm who died was really good as well. So great day at the office, no injuries. Yeah, bring on Millwall.
Yeah, it was as we said in the previous 3 games, Cuds. We obviously we've put the performances in, and that was a 4th one in a row, wasn't it? And we seemed to really get the rewards. What was your overall view of the game?
I think you all summed it up very well. It was a total performance. The defence looked strong. They limited Charlton to very, very little opportunities, apart from that first 30 seconds or 38 seconds, wasn't it, when they broke through. I'll just mention that as well. Schmidt, first minute against Charlton and last minute against Preston, has absolutely dug us out. It's nice to see. It's nice to see people congratulating him for that kind of performance rather than having a go at him for dropping the ball in appalling conditions at Watford. So I'm pleased for him for that. This game, like the Pedro Mendes game, will go down as the Devlin game.
Yes, good point. I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. It's like, were you there? Do you remember the Devlin game? Because that's what it was. I mean, as you said, the first one squirmed in past the keeper, but the second one, what is it about near post? Segacic has done near post. Dazelle had a go on the Preston game again at the near post, which the keeper got down to. But there's something going on in the near post department. Don't know what it is.
I said in the last pod that all of Sekicic's goals have been near post. He does.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly, cutting in from the right, you'd expect him to be curling it towards the far post, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's certainly what players like. I'm not saying Sekicic is anywhere near Saka, but that's certainly what Saka looks to do with his left foot when he cuts in from the right. But Sekicic, he drills it for that near post, and he's got some joy that way. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to for that performance on Tuesday night? Because we can obviously name check Devlin and Ali and Adams, but I think there was a few other players who were outstanding as well.
Yeah, really pleased for Colby to bag one finally after all that time. That must be a massive weight off his shoulders. Yes, it's a penalty, but still, a goal's a goal. So good for him. I thought Swanson had a good game again. He's not. He doesn't do anything flashy or fancy, but he's there and reliable, and another one like Devlin seems to be first choice on the team sheet these days, which is good to see, because they're both young players. And the criticism that we've had recently is, the young player thing hasn't worked, especially focusing on the Australian side of things. But actually, Devlin and Swanson, to not such a great extent, but they're still youngish players who are coming through and establishing themselves in the squad.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was going to talk about the January window. Obviously, we've got two players out long-term injured already from the 5 or 6 we got. Thankfully, Ali and Adams seem to be staying fit, even though Adams may spend some time on the sideline for his robust play. But you wouldn't want him to play in any other way, would you? Really, if he has to pick up another yellow for making a saving block, then and maybe catching the player, then you'd want him to do that all day long. But we're currently in 19th on 36 points with 15 games to go, and I think we're averaging about the last, as you said, Cuds, 10 games, 10, 12 games. We're averaging 1.2 or 1.3 points a game. So if you extrapolate that over 14 points, that will put us on round about 54, 55 points. Do we think that would be enough to stay up this season? I don't know whether Leicester's appeal, which they've launched today, might be successful, but do we think normally it's 50-52, but with Sheffield Wednesday losing to everybody's got an extra few points, haven't they? So do we think that might be enough?
I would like to see a few more, obviously. But the Leicester situation, there's been a lot of debate about 6 didn't seem very many. So if they're appealing against that, I suspect that will not get very far. Yeah, I think 54, 55 would probably see us safe. Not anywhere near as comfortable as we were last season, where we were. If we'd won that last game of the season, we would have finished 14th, I think. So I think 54, 55 points gives us maybe 17th, 18th position if we're looking at it from that angle. So always nice to get more points, but I think 54 will probably be enough with the 1/2 teams really suffering at the bottom.
Yeah, Reece, you could argue that the reason that the players we brought in January have been successful is because they're not kids and they've got experience at this level. Ali and Adams and Jacob Brown. Anderson obviously is out for a few weeks. All experienced pros, all mid to late 20s. Adams obviously a bit older. Do we think that that signals a change in transfer policy, that we would be looking in the summer for more of the same with that and looking to maybe move some of the kids that we've brought on that haven't worked on, and perhaps the pennies drop that you need that experience, you need that savviness to survive in this level, and that might be the way that the next couple of transfer windows go?
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about the kind of transfer policy and on the pod, and there's differing opinions and things, but we know average players like Biachini cost 2 million. Slightly better players are going to be 4 or 5 million with the associated wages. The owners have stated they're not prepared to pay that kind of money or risk paying that kind of money, and we are in a different market. But I think we're focusing on getting value for money, and we are going to we take risks. That is absolutely part of the game, and you are going to get some duds, and we have done with Kamara and Sorensen and a few others. But actually, alongside that, you've got some really good, bright sparks. And I mean, I think the thing with the young players is they don't contribute towards a 25-man squad, especially if they're under 21. So they are extra players. And you think about Devlin, you think about Segacic, you think about Matthews. Jury's out on Waddingham, jury's out on Farrell. But there's 3 or 4 there that you think actually they could really... If, for example, they continued the line of Devlin's taken, and let's face it, Devlin's taken 3-ish years to get here. So you're looking at, especially a lot of these players have come from abroad, Schmidt as well. I think you do need to, it's at least a season or 2 to get acclimatised. But I personally, I think the transfer policy is something that changes depending on the situation. And I will also say the only time really to judge the transfer policy is when the season finishes. Yes, we could talk about micro parts of the season, but in reality, it's where you end up. I think, yes, undoubtedly, this transfer window, we've probably got a much bigger wage budget. I don't think anybody can deny that. I think we've spent probably the most we have on players at this transfer window, bringing in proven championship players. They're not going to be on $5,000 a week. We're talking big wages here. So again, I think the owner has put money into the club and sanctioned those players. And I think it just goes to show, like games against Preston and Sheffield United, 1 or 2 really good players can make a massive difference at this level. And maybe next season we'll have a more of a solid base, assuming we'll stay up. And I think we will. Maybe they will go and spend that little bit more for that guy who will get you 15 goals a season, because that's all the difference between Preston and Sheffield was we didn't put it in the net, they did. So I think it's really with the accounts for last season haven't come out yet. I'm pretty sure they will show an increase in spending. I don't think we're going to be spending £10 million on players like Cannon, like Sheffield United did. But it wouldn't surprise me if they do look to put a bit more money into maybe 1 or 2 bigger transfer fees. But the thing is, when you're looking at £5 million players, everybody knows they're £5 million players. So it's a really difficult market for us to exist in. And the Championship has moved on so much. We cannot exist in this division and sustainably. End of. We haven't got the turnover. We haven't got the infrastructure. We'd like to do what Wrexham have done, and I think somebody highlighted their kind of off the field turnover absolutely smashes through us. They've definitely done one on Eisner there. But yeah, in answer to the question, I honestly think we will, because every season we've seen and transfer window in the Championship, budget's got bigger, bigger and bigger. And it just makes you think, if we had 4 injuries instead of 14, where would we be? I mean, we're playing really well at the moment, and we've got a team of misfits and 14 out injured. It's so frustrating. I think there's a real building of a good team in there. So I think the owners will continue to spend and might start to spend a little bit more. But otherwise, what's the point of them being here?
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, that Eisner again spoke in the media. He did an American interview where he touched on his journey to Pompey and what he's going to do. And he had, before Christmas, also said a couple of unguarded things about, Premiership in 10 years, and also they've done the ground. They're now going to spend more on the squad. Cuds, you're not a regular on here, so we know what the regulars say, especially Reece. Reece is a big fan of the build it brick by brick model. Some of us aren't. What's your feelings and thoughts about how Pompey have existed in the Championship the last 20 odd months?
I think we've done a very good job in difficult circumstances. As we've said, budget is tiny compared to long established Championship clubs, and then you have to factor in the bigger clubs coming down from the Premiership. Let's have a look at who's coming down next year. Their parachute payments, just the whole way that they've earned money in the Premiership, and they'll bring that and their squads into the Championship. So makes it very, very difficult to compete. This year, perhaps a little unusual in that Birmingham and Wrexham have got big money. They're not like a Lincoln or a Wickham who've managed to scramble their way up into the Championship and are surviving on next to nothing. These are clubs which have got, again, big bucks American owners rather than our guys who seem to be deep pockets and short arms. But, I don't criticise them for that. I know what they're trying to do, but like any football fan, you always want more expensive players, you want better players, you want bigger squads, and the reality is that we don't have the turnover to support that. There are some very good things that they've done, sorting out the ground and pushing the attendances up, and Fratton Park's pretty much sold out every game, so that's a good thing. But where it goes to next, I don't know. It's when you're in the Championship for a number of years, you start to gather Championship players, and that becomes your core squad, if you like. And then you can build around the edges of that with youngsters and gamble a bit with, kind of, well, maybe he might make it, maybe he might not, but you've still got that core of Championship players that you can fall back on. And we haven't got that. We've got about half a squad, I suppose, of Championship players, and we've got some bright prospects coming through. But we struggle with that. And then the injuries thing is just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And I listen to a lot of other social media and podcasts, and everybody saying the same thing. Why is it that we have such a problem with injuries? And nobody's got the answer. I'm sure that if there was a bad pitch or something at the training ground, then it would be recognised by the training staff and they would do something about it. So it does seem that it's just an unbelievably bad run of luck. Yeah, I mean, that's proved by you sign 2 players and bingo, all of a sudden within a week of the transfer window shutting, we've lost 2 of the players that we've just signed for long periods of time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have 3 games. Obviously, we're riding high after the Charlton win, our second away win of the season. Millwall and Wrexham away. I mean, we've talked about this before, Reece. We tend to put in a really massive performance, either home and away, and then the next away match we crumble and get beaten 5-6-0. We've got to hope that we continue this rich vein of form and we put in the performances that we've done in the last 4 games and hopefully get a goal or 2. So can I have your predictions for Millwall, Wrexham and the home game against Hull, which is the ones that we should have before our next pod? So
yeah,
Reece, can you go first and give us your predictions?
So I think Millwall are like 3rd, aren't they? And
Yes.
Wrexham about 6th or 5th or something like that. So, and we're playing away. I think we've got to take confidence, and I think if we play like we have done, I think Wrexham, it'll be a draw, 1-1, and go on, be optimistic. I think we might lose against Millwall, because whenever I see Millwall, they've always looked a really, really solid team. They just needed a bit of creativity, and they got Barry Bannon there, and that will help with them. I think maybe we won't get anything out of that game, but I think we will. I think we'll beat Hull 2-0. So 4 points from the next 6. 9.
Okay. Yeah, Cuds.
Yeah, Millwall. There won't be a lot of goals in it, and where they are in the league sort of tells you that we'll struggle against them. So we predict a 2-1 loss there. I'm going to the Wrexham game, so I want to see some goals. So I'll have a 2-2 draw there. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And let's have a 2-0 victory for the game at Fratton Park against Hull.
So you're going for 4 points again. Yeah, I think the Wrexham one might be a bit more winnable. I know they're on a really good run, but we will have a lot of fans there, well, as much as we can bring into the small stadium. But I think it's going to be it's a new ground for a lot of people. I don't think many people have been to Wrexham before. So I think Millwall always tend to really just grind it out against us and usually score a headed goal or 2. So yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't think we'll get anything there. But like you, I think a point against Wrexham and a home win against Hull, and we continue our 1.3 per game average or whatever it is out of it, which will be, I think eventually enough to keep us up if we keep that up. Thank you very much, guys. Another great pod. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. Hope you played along at home or wherever you are listening to this. And I'd like to thank Simon for coming in from Switzerland. Very, very good to have you in.
It's a pleasure.
Hopefully we'll have you again at some point. And thank you, Reece. And we will speak to you again all in a couple of weeks, where we'll cover the 3 games. And Phil can come back with another fiendishly, devilishly tricky quiz, and we'll all sit there open-mouthed and not get a question right. So thank you very much, guys. Play up Pompey, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
See you later.